There is already a couple of installation videos of the Waydoo Flyer 1 folding prop, but I thought I would document my own installation and add a few of my own suggestions as well. And the first of those is this tool here. I'm not sure the exact name of this tool. This tool is generally used to help you hit nails on the head better. You put the tip on the end of the nail. Some of them even have a bit of a rounder point with a cavity. But this was the only tool that helped me take the cone off of the end of the propeller on mine. Everyone is going to have different levels of difficulty of unscrewing various parts of their prop, whether it's the screws and bolts themselves or the cone. But every single thing I put into this hole was bending except for this because it tapers. So if you have any problem with getting the nose cone off and you feel like everything you put in this hole is bending, get yourself one of these and it'll be a cinch. I have the original Kickstarter Waydoo Flyer 1 and I already previously removed the original prop. This is what the original prop looks like. If you have this prop, you may have difficulty removing the prop, and you can get this tool here 3D printed to help you remove it. And then you'll be adding these bolts to the tool that's going to essentially help you to pull the prop off. Those 3 black bolts will go into the 3 holes of the prop here, and then this larger bolt basically screws down into the shaft, and then the 3 bolts will pull the prop off simultaneously. So that's kind of in a nutshell how that works. And so these 2 are extra ones, and I'll probably do a giveaway of these. I'll have some information in the description. It'll also be a good idea to have a towel, especially if you're working on a surface you don't want to get wet, because, for example, this prop is the plastic one, and this one has some cavities there that will likely have some water in it, and when you take the cone off, there's going to be some water that's going to spill down onto the surface that you're working on. Be careful not to lose this pin. This pin right here going through the shaft is very important. You can see the cover or the cage was removed off of this one. A bolt there, 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 and there. And then you can see also where the bolts used to go in this piece here. So that's all of the necessary things you'll need to remove in order to get the prop guard and shroud off. So there's that pin there, and that's going to basically keep the, you can see where it went in right there. So that's important for keeping the prop stable so it will spin properly. And then this is the thing that we're going to take off next. This is a nice metal one that they've included, and the original one is this plastic one. And so this is basically the hub of the shroud here. And this is a replacement I bought in case I ever wanted to put it back on, but I made my own. You can see that I cut off and then I shaved the fins, the supports down. So that's what we're taking off next. You will not be playing with any of these bolts here. Leave those bolts alone. Alright, there's the 4 bolts that came out. Notice there's a bit of a size difference in one. And so that was pulling off the hub. And if it's the first time you've pulled off the hub, there will actually be some glue. You can see a little bit of glue here left over that I've scraped off from the first time that I took it off. So because of that reason of glue being used on the hub and also on the bolts, these bolts will be next that hold on the fin or support for the rear wing stabilizer. It is suggested that all of these bolts be heated before removal because of the glue. So you'll need to soften the glue by heating them up with a heat gun, or if you don't have a heat gun, you can use a hair dryer. So this bit of mine fits in this bolt so well that I have a whole I'm having a hard time pulling it off with my fingers, so I got these two pliers to pull it off for the first, and the second one is just the same. So I had the same problem as another Waydoo owner. One of these 4 bolts was giving me the biggest pain to remove. And I tried using a drill, this special tool here, which is designed for extracting bolts that have been overworked here. I can't think of the right word right now, but I ended up pounding this in there, which was recommended by someone else. There we go. It's kind of a star shape there. I pounded that in there with the hammer, and then I used the extra torque from this to finally get it to come loose. There you can see how the one on the left is stripped out. That's the word I was looking for, stripped. So I banged that star-shaped bit in there until I got some good grip, and whew, a lot of work. So this is my hardware. And they also supply you with new ones. A new pin, new bolts to go into the hub. And this one's even shorter than mine. And this is the nut that goes on the end of the prop, right over there. And this is for tightening it down. So here's some comparison with the old and the new. So you can see that the new one is made out of metal, and the other one is got a combination of plastic and metal. So, in putting the old and the new side by side, you can see that their height is a bit different. The new one is taller. And this again is the version 1 Waydoo, the Waydoo Flyer 1 Kickstarter. Also the post is longer, there's more support there. And you can see that this is all one plastic piece here, whereas this is thicker. Waydoo definitely putting in some quality control here and improving their products. Very nice. And this just slides right into there, like that. Just a perfect fit. So another problem I'm having is this bolt is just not wanting to go all the way down. And almost every single one of them have been really hard to screw in, and I think that's because there's some leftover glue inside the hole. But every time I've tried to slide this thing on, the bolt head would get in the way. But I think I've finally got it down far enough that I can slide this sucker on without the bolt head pushing up on things. And I feel pretty confident that I'm just gonna slide it on the way it is, because I'm torquing this thing so hard that this rod is bending, and I'm worried about stripping out one of these bolts trying to put it in. Yeah. So you'll see here the smaller or shorter of the 4 bolts goes in the bottom, the part that goes into the base of the fin mount of the stabilizer. You can see here again, the small screw goes into the stabilizer portion. So that would be this hole right there, stabilizer fin mount. In your bag of hardware, you'll see these teeny tiny black rings, and those are optional. That is so you can put one on either side of the pin to keep it in place. That's all they're for. So you can see right there along those grooves is where the pin is going to go. It goes right in there. It's hitting the pin, twist it slightly, and it goes right on. Along with the tiny black rubber O-rings, you will find these translucent nylon rings, and these are designed to go between the nut and the propeller to help with vibration, but they're kind of optional as well. Here's the nut here. Instead of putting the glue or Loctite on the end of the shaft first, I'm going to put it inside the nut using a Q-tip. And this is a thread locker blue gel that I have on here. And then when you're done, you can take all the tools that you might need to use out in the field and put them in a little bag. So this black one here, this one fits the battery locks. It also happens to fit some of the bolts on the hub shroud cover of the prop. And then this one is definitely less likely to use. This one I was using on the smaller ones inside, but I'll put it inside the bag. But definitely keep one that will tighten the battery locks, the one for the bolts on your wings, some Loctite gel, and these are for the front wing, and this is an adapter for the patroller wing because the other one is wrapped by foam there, which is something that only those with first version 1 Kickstarter boards got, because this helps to strengthen the fuselage point, because the nose of the fuselage was breaking on some of the very early Waydoo Flyer 1 boards. So here we're looking at the adapter that I was just talking about. It comes in 2 pieces, the mount and then the adapter itself. And in case you're wondering, how might you tell if you're looking at a early version 1 Flyer 1 or a version 2 is these bolts here, that one and that one. You can see 2 of them. And they switched to having only 1 in the middle. So if you see 2 bolts, you're looking at a version 1. And if you see 1 bolt, then you're looking at a version 2. Or maybe even a version 3, which is the Flyer 1 Plus, which had the different style of propeller on the back. I gotta say, Waydoo did a fantastic job on this design. All other folding prop designs I've seen, the propellers will articulate independently. But this design, they articulate together. They fold together and they open together because of these gears here inside. Really awesome design and very sleek. Almost completely closed, almost resembling like a slightly open clamshell, if you will. And it also fits pretty good in the bag. So this is my bag, and I've added a lot of extra padding in here. The bags were something that Waydoo used in the first versions. Folding prop